Hello everyone, Professor Thompson here. I have not posted a video for a while, but I am back today. It is June 25th, and I've got four core things that I wanted to share today. The first has to do with an announcement that I posted in writing, and I sent you via email already today, and that is that I am canceling the group writing assignment. So I believe in some of the classes, I just gave you the points for it. So it was a 75-point thing, and it was a pretty extensive kind of group assignment. I'm just giving you the points for that, essentially canceling the assignment. I did get a couple emails from people, so thank you for checking in. But anyway, so I just think it's best for where we're at in the course and what we have going on and what people need to complete that we focus on completing the modules for unit number 3, completing the quizzes for unit 3, and I think most importantly, writing, developing, and practicing that third and final presentation. So because I'm pulling out the group assignment, that's one less thing that you need to worry about. So your final presentations should be really good. Okay, so no group writing assignment. The second thing that I want to mention has to do with the extra credit in the course. I noticed that there were a couple of you that did chapters 7, 2, and 3. I want to remind you that the course schedule mentions that you can only complete one chapter for extra credit. Okay, chapters 7, 2, and 3 are not part of unit number 3. They're listed separately as part of the extra credit tab. Now, if you want to do chapters 7, 2, and 3 just because you're interested, go ahead. But you're only going to accrue bonus points for completing one of those chapters. And so what will happen is I will verify at the end of our term who has completed all the elements of one of those chapters. So you have to read the chapter, you have to do the module for the chapter, and then you have to take the quiz for the chapter, and hopefully you score well on that quiz to help you out. So keep it simple. Again, you can only do one of those 3, but I provide you many options because some of you might be interested in the social media chapter. Others of you might be interested in the nonverbal communication chapter. So I want to play to your interest there. The third thing that I want to mention has to do with the state of Illinois requirements for the speeches. As I said in the syllabus, as I said on the schedule, as I've mentioned in several videos so far, the state of Illinois speaking requirements and submission requirements are non-negotiable. Okay? I have to be able to verify that you have 8 or more people in your audience. I have to be able to get an unedited video. I have to be able to see that you are not giving the presentation in a residence. So again, I have had multiple submissions for many of the 2 presentations thus far that violate that state of Illinois requirements. And quite frankly, there's zero leeway, and there's a 0 that's waiting for you when you don't meet the state of Illinois requirements. And that's ultimately on your shoulders, right? From the very first moment that we started this class, in the syllabus, in the calendar, in the schedule, in my videos, I've mentioned you have to adhere to those things. So if you have in some way not adhered to those, you probably have received a 0 on one of your first 2 speeches. And that's not a good thing. So you want to make sure that you are aware of what's going on and what you are doing and taking ownership of your submissions. A couple of you pleaded, ignorance. I didn't know. I didn't read the requirement. And I can't fathom that 3 weeks, 4 weeks into a semester that you didn't read the syllabus or you aren't watching the videos. So you have to take some ownership of the fact that These things have been out there, and you have to meet those requirements. So as we go into the final speech in Unit 3, most of you are doing a pretty good job. But all of you need to know that if you're submitting a third presentation, it has to meet those requirements. And then a couple other tips I would say about those submissions. You want to make sure that you do show the audience or whatnot, but you also want that video to also come up close enough to where I can read your facial expressions or I can see you gesturing. I can't give you credit for something that I can't see. And so you want to make sure that you're aware of that. And you have to think as you're recording it, what does this look like when I play it back, right? You don't want to be across the street shooting the video at a park. You don't want to be at the very, 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 very back of a classroom shooting the video and you appear to be just a kind of little mini Oompa Loompa in the video. That doesn't do you any good, and it doesn't do me any good. Okay. Okay, so the fourth and final thing I want to talk about is grades. I have been working as fast as I can today to make sure that things are updated in Blackboard. I have made very significant progress for all of you in that regard. I would say that about 3/4 of you have both Speech 1 and Speech 2 graded in Blackboard and feedback back in your hands. And I would say that a majority of all of your assignments in the course are evaluated at this point. So your grades are really starting to take shape. I say that because today is the last day to withdraw from the class. So you kind of want to know where you stand. I feel like if you're a student who has had multiple zeros on multiple assignments, or you've taken multiple zeros on your presentations, that withdraw deadline might be something that you want to consider and think about. I think if you got a C, a B, an A on the first speech, I don't think there'd be a lot of concern. I think that I grade a little bit more difficult on the second speech, so you may have noticed a much tougher grade on the second speech, but still not a lot of cause for concern. I can tell you that there's about 19 students who I am finishing up kind of marking in my handwritten notes scores, and I will be scanning and sending you feedback from speech number 2 tomorrow. If you do not have speech 2 feedback in your hands right now, as you watch this video today on June 25th, I am not concerned with your success or passing of this course. Now, I'm going to try and get you the feedback tomorrow, but if you don't have speech 2 feedback in your hands right now, I'm not worried about your success. You're lining yourself up for probably an A or a B in my class. And so I'm making sure that the people who need the feedback first are getting that feedback back in their hands. There were a couple of you who I've had email conversations with about requesting certain feedback, and I tried to make sure that I got that back to you today. Nate, Chris, those were a couple people off the top of my head that I remember making sure that I got the speech 2 feedback in your hands today for various reasons. But anyway, the point being, feedback is coming. It will continue to come. The grades are being posted. If you have questions, please email me, right? I'm pretty good about responding to the email. I've really been catching up. Really pretty quick on that. At this point, email is a 24-hour turnaround. If you haven't heard from me and you do have a concern, let me know. But I think that if you've had problems or issues, I've been back to you on that at this point. Okay? So Best of luck to you. Finish strong. Not many days left. Looking forward to the final speeches. But get that work done in unit number 3. I just made it easier by canceling that group writing assignment. I would also make a special note here at the end. You still need to do chapter 8, which is on group communication, and you still need to do the discussion board post on groupthink. And I did mention that in the announcement that I posted into Blackboard today. So I know that that's there, but again, you got to be checking your email, you got to be checking the announcements, you got to be watching the videos. So I'm only taking away the group writing assignment. Okay, have a great afternoon. This is probably one of my last couple videos. I might make 1 or 2 more before we close it out. But best of luck to all of you in the next few days.